UFC 313. Let's start off with King Green versus Maurizio Ruffi, the opener on the main card.
Yeah, so we'll be going through the main cards. This is the first fight. It's actually a really interesting fight, to be fair. It's like young guy versus old guy, veteran versus newcomer. And I think like everybody's thinking Rufi's gonna kind of run through Bobby Green. But let's like look at the tail of the tape first.
All right, so let's look at Bobby Green first. He's 37 years old. He's a veteran. He's been in the UFC for a long period of time. He's had 26 fights in the UFC. He stands at 5'10". He's got a 71-inch reach, which is quite good for a lightweight. He's known for his slick boxing. He's got very good head movement, and he's very good at frustrating his opponents with his volume and his counter punching.
Yeah, I'd say like he does a lot of volume as well.
Yeah, dude.
Or did you say that?
That's fine.
My bad. No, but no, yeah, but he's better when he's on the front foot, like applying pressure, having someone against the cage and stuff. But like he doesn't really have any KO power really. Like he's got a bit of power, but I think the last person he knocked out was
Yeah, and that was more
Ankakaev.
based on volume as well. Like he beat him up more than just starching him.
Yeah. But yeah, other than Ankakaev's best wins are what, Tony Ferguson, he submitted him.
Yeah,
Nasrat
that was a
Haqparast,
good one.
that was a good performance. That was like he beat him up for what, like 3
But he has
rounds.
struggled before against heavy hitters like Drew Dober and another fighter who's on this card who we'll be talking about later, Rafael Fiziev.
Yeah, like to be fair, that Fiziev fight, I think that was fight of the night on that card, and that was a really good fight. Like it was quite impressive how he did. But yeah, he did struggle about against the power, and obviously he got knocked out by another fighter on this card, Jalen Turner, who's another power puncher. So it's like Rufi's like he is a dangerous striker. He's got that power, so that is probably why
Yeah,
he's
he's
such a
a
big
lot
favorite.
younger as well. He's 27 years old compared to Bobby Green's 37-year-old.
Yeah, he's just like he's fresh. Like he's not got as much wear and tear. Green's been through some wars, or like even we've got to mention Poirier knocked out Green. Like this was ages ago. When was it? 2016. Poirier knocks him out. Like he's been through the ringer. He's got a lot of fucking damage. Like he's got experience, but like he's taken a
Yeah,
lot of damage.
and Ruffy, he's a really good striker. His Muay Thai has looked really good so far. He's really good at finishing fights. He's finished 10 of his 15 wins by knockout or TKO. And in his last fight, he beat Jamie Mullarkey and by knocking him out as well. So he's going to be confident. And
So I think that was like what his second to last fight, wasn't it? Because he beat that random
oh,
guy
yeah.
like Yontop in it. But like he was also called. He was like kind of gassing later on in that fight, like when he couldn't get him out of there. So that could come into play in this fight. Like I think Bobby Green's got good cardio. So if let's say Rufi tries to like unload on him and he can't get him out of there in the third round, it might be a struggle, and that's why we might see Green even use some wrestling and submit him or some shit like that. Like
Yeah.
that's a potential outcome that people
Yeah,
haven't
we
really
haven't
thought
really
about. I
seen
think.
Ruffy off of his back either. So, and he submitted Tony Ferguson, who's known to be a very good grappler.
Yeah, yeah. That's even if it's like a watch Tony, that's still really impressive. So, do you want to get
Yeah, we
into
can
like the
get into the
predictions?
predictions. So for me, I think Ruffy will get it done. I think he'll win by decision. I think he'll start off strong and he'll fade, but I don't think Bobby Green will finish him.
Yeah, fair enough. And me personally, I think like it's a tough one to choose because like it seems like obvious Rufi's gonna knock him out, and that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Rufi knockout in the second, but like I do think actually Green's got a real chance to just like kind of show his veteran skills here, but I think Rufi probably will just be too much for him. Like he'll just catch him, especially like with Bobby Green's like Philly shell, like he does get exposed a few times, like hit a bit. So like he will get hit even though he's defensively quite sound, and that
That's a
power
fair
might just put him out, I
prediction.
think.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I got Rufi by round 2 KO. Akib's got
Yeah, so
Rufi by
let's get to
decision.
the second matchup that we'll be talking about today, and that's Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes.
Yeah, and this is a really good fight actually. Like this is a fight people have been talking about since I don't even know how long, 2021, 2022. Like two lanky guys in the lightweight division. I think Turner's 6'3", and how tall is
Bahamondes
Balmondes?
is 6'3" as well, so they're both the same height.
Both 6'3", crazy. So that's 155 pounds, 70 kg, and
Yeah, so
they're
they're
both
both
6'3".
6'3", but
But yeah, no,
Turner does have a 2-inch reach advantage.
okay, true. That will come into play. And to be fair, even though Turner is a long fighter, he's not always like he's not a back foot type of guy, or like he's a very front foot fighter. He's
Yeah, he
always
does
looking
like
for
to
the
walk
finish.
forward and use his reach,
And
picking off his opponent. Got a nice
yeah,
jab.
yeah, no, nice job, good shirt. He's got some good like
Yeah,
front
it's
kicks,
like he
I'd say as
fights
well.
really forward. His fundamentals are all really good.
He's he's dynamic as well. Actually, like if anything, I think he has the skill set to be a top guy, but it doesn't always come together for him. Like sometimes he's just missing something in the fight. Like that Moicano fight, he's missing the IQ to
Yeah,
just finish the fight
exactly.
off there. And um, also in the Hooker fight, you kind of seen potentially his lack of cardio. Like that was
Yeah,
just a
and
raw, to
Hooker's
be
one of the
fair.
best guys in the
But
division
like
for one of
sometimes
those
he
type of
can,
fights.
yeah, yeah. Hooker thrives more than Turner. He did good to survive. Like he almost got finished, but he's shown that a few times that like he might struggle later in fights, especially like with the
Yeah,
cardio
and
and that
on
type
top
of
of that,
thing.
though, Turner has
But
got a good ground game, and Barmondez, he's not the best at stuffing takedowns, and he hasn't been tested at all by any really high level wrestlers or grapplers. And not saying
yeah,
Turner's like one of the high level grapplers or wrestlers in the division, but he is a good wrestler, and he's shown it before as well.
yeah, he's solid wrestler, isn't it? He's like he's not a fucking Dagestani or something, but he can get people down. Like if he only gets people down, he's very
And he
dangerous.
has got a good submission game. He's got
He can't
long
sub.
limbs, which definitely helps him.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I think Bahamondes he's been subs twice in his career. That was before the UFC, but like still that's something you need to consider. And like he's also not really fought the level of competition like Turner has. Like Turner, even though he lost, he fought Hooker, he fought Gamrot, he fought
Yeah.
Moicano. Like even though he lost those fights, but like he showed good potential and like good skills as well in them fights. But Mendes not really been tested. Like who's his toughest fight that
Turner's
he's?
toughest fight was probably Hooker. Oh.
No, Bahamondes toughest
Yeah,
fight. Like
he
it's
hasn't
not the
fought
same level.
nowhere
He
near
had,
the same level of competition. And is they both, well, last year he only fought twice as well. He's fought mainly unranked guys. Yeah,
yeah, we got down spinning wheel kick knockout
yeah,
on
and
Roosevelt
he did
Robertson.
knock
It
out
so
Manuel Torres as well.
that was a crazy highlight. Okay, yeah, that's a good win as well. To be fair, but
It's not the most, well, it's a guy he's trying to get into the top 15. He lost against John McDessie as well back in 2021.
oh
So
yeah,
yeah, so what do you think? What's your prediction for this fight?
I was thinking about this and it was a tough one because I do like Turner. I think he's got skills, but I think he's always just kind of off the mark slightly. So I was thinking Bahamander's gonna finish him late potentially, but then I've gone with Turner by
Yeah, I'm
advantage.
just gonna go with Turner, but I'm gonna go with the decision again. Hopefully, there's not two decisions at the start of the main card. But yeah, I think Turner will win with the
Yeah.
decision.
Either way, if even if this is a decision, I think this like for me, this I'm predicting this will be fight of the night because just two long strikers and that they're both tough. I think it'll be a war. But like I think it'll be a war and then like maybe Turner knocks him down, gets a sub late in round two, something like that. It's quite specific, but yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah.
this will be fight of the
Alright,
night.
let's get on to what's gonna be fight of the night. Just in the highlight, Gaethje, everybody's favorite fighter to watch versus Rafael Ataman Fiziev. They fought once before back in 2023, so it's around the same time, 2 years later. They're fighting again, so it's like a 2 year anniversary rematch. So yeah, let's start with Gaethje. He's 25-5. He's 35 years old, and he's 5'11". He's got a 70-inch reach, and he's just got an all-action fighting style. He's non-stop. He walks forward. He takes punches, and he gives them back even harder most of the time.
Yeah, and even though he used to be a bit more reckless, fucking Homer Simpson back in the day, like he's slightly more methodical now, but he still gets hit a lot. Like I think he receives was it 6.5 significant
Yeah, it
strikes
was
absorbed
around
per minute, which
something like that, around 6, 7 significant strikes per minute.
yeah, so it's a lot, but he takes a lot of damage to give a lot of damage, and obviously we've seen him be put out quite a few times, like Eddie Alvarez, Charles put him down and then submitted him, Poirier put him out,
But he's still
but
got like one of the best resumes in lightweight right now. Like he knocked out Poirier, he TKO'd Tony
yeah,
Ferguson, he beat Chandler on a decision, and Fiziev on a decision. And most of these fights were fight of the nights or performance of the nights. And his only losses, like they've come against Khabib, Charles, Poirier, and these guys are some of the best fighters in the history of the division.
yeah, of course he's probably like I'd say like rank five or so, best lightweight ever, and he's up there with them guys.
Yeah, he's a
And
legend already. He's gonna be talked about for years to come.
yeah, and like, one of his main skills is like the leg kicks, but then we'll get onto Fiziev, who he's obviously got amazing leg kicks himself, and he's got this amazing Muay Thai style. He's like such beautiful, powerful kicks, and that's we've seen that in the first fight. That's why the first fight was so entertaining. It was just like an amazing striking
Yeah,
battle.
Fiziev started very strong. He's a former Muay Thai champion as well, and his style just blends perfectly with MMA and especially in the UFC. He was winning the first fight. I think he was winning the first round. He started fast, and then Gaethje just took over. And
Yeah,
Fiziev has beaten some really good guys as well. He's beaten RDA, who's also a former lightweight champ, one of the best fighters in that division's history, who
yeah, that
also
was a
went
good
up a weight
performance.
class. He beat Brad
And he showed like
Riddle.
he can go into later
Yeah,
rounds.
he beat Bobby Green. And he's also, but the thing is, the only two losses he's had in the UFC are like Gaethje and then Gamrot, and Gamrot was a injury TKO.
Yeah, so yeah, his overall his record is 12-3,
Yeah,
isn't it? So it's a good record. Now Bobby Green fight, like Bobby Green actually did show a lot of potential holes in Fiziev's game, even though like he still got that decision pretty comfortably. And the first fight was close. It was a majority decision, so one judge actually had it a draw. But I think we're gonna kind of be seeing the similar patterns from that fight in this fight, to be
yeah.
honest. And the fact it's a year and a half layoff, and the fact that it's a 2 week notice, it's just gonna be an uphill battle for
And
Fizzy
Gaethje
to win
trained
this.
for 5 rounds as well against Hooker.
Yeah, he's not gonna be getting tired at all. And he's got like good
Yeah,
cardio
and
anyway.
Hooker would have set a pace from
Like
the start. Like Hooker's another walk forward guy, so he'd be ready for that type of fighting style.
Yeah, so I'd say Fiziev's best chance to win is like Gaethje overcommitting, getting into a brawl, which obviously he can excel in, but getting into it and then getting clipped or getting hit big. I would say that's Gaethje's biggest risk. But realistically, if he's you like the more patient version of himself, he should win this like on a decision, which is actually what my
Yeah,
prediction
so
is.
I think it all depends on that first round. Like Fiziev does have really good body kicks, and he's very good at like landing significant strikes, and he's faster. He's just faster than Gaethje. So I think if he goes to work early to the body and just just gets ready for a long 3 rounder, I think he does have a high chance. And there's no way the fight's going to the ground. Like Gaethje is
Yeah,
allergic
these lot are not taking each other down.
allergic to taking the fight to the ground, and Fiziev's a Muay Thai fighter.
And yeah, we've seen when Gaethje tried to take down Eddie Alvarez, and then he malfunctioned and did a fucking backflip or something like that. So
Yeah, and like they've both got quite good takedown defense as well. So their fight's not
yeah,
touching the ground. So I think it all just depends on like who sets the tone early. If Gaethje keeps Fizzy walking backwards, keep him on the back foot, and Fizzy's just got to avoid staying in the pocket with Gaethje, and he's just got to keep the distance. So I think Gaethje's gonna win a 3 round decision. I think it'll be a close fight, but I think Gaethje will clearly get the win.
yeah. One interesting thing about that as well is that even though Fiziev is 3 inches shorter, he's actually got 1 inch longer reach than Gaethje. But I don't think that'll be too much of a factor into this fight.
All right, so now let's get on to the main event. The most active fighter, or most active champion in UFC's history, Alex Pereira, Powhatan, against Ankalaev. So on one corner, you've got an elite knockout artist versus like the number one contender, the guy people have been saying for years is going to beat Pereira at light heavyweight, and it's finally time to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a really interesting fight, and a lot of people hate on Ank, like say he's not too entertaining or whatever, but he clearly deserved this fight, and it's realistically the toughest fight in the division for Pereira, like by quite a bit, I think. So it's an interesting matchup, and I think it's quite even. Like, could go either way, but we'll get into it.
So, like in one corner, you've got Pereira, who's just on a historic run. He's got a record of 10-2. He's hardly had any fights. Well, he's had about, I think, 8 fights in the UFC, and he's already a two-weight class champion, which doesn't happen. He's 36 years old as well. He started MMA very late, and what he's done in these last couple of years is just amazing. He's already one of the top pound for pound guys of all time as well. And he's just got his secret weapon. Well, it's not really secret, his left hook, which has just been knocking people out since he joined the UFC.
Yeah, his left hook is, I don't even know what's inside of that. It's scary, and that is going to play a part in this fight, probably, but we'll get into that. But Pereira is 6'4" with a 79-inch reach, which his arms are so long. But Ankalaev is also 6'4" as well. But I
He's
think
6'3", but yeah,
he's
they're around
6'3",
the same
alright.
height. Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a factor. He's already fought tall fighters like Adesanya and
Johnny Walker.
Jiri. Jo- yeah, but um, wait, who's fought? No, who
Wait,
fought Johnny
oh,
Walker?
I thought you were talking about Ank.
No, Alex. He's already fought tall fighters, and like, to be fair, Ank's fought tall fighters as well. So I don't think that's going to really be like a factor on either side. But for Alex, he like his wins. Like I said, he's fought Izzy, won one, lost one. He knocked out Strickland, he destroyed Strickland. He's beat Jury twice, beat Blahovic as well.
Uh, by the way, you guys might be getting a lot of Strickland hate videos because Michael absolutely despises Strickland. So we'll get
Well, yeah, fuck him.
we'll get to those in the future.
Let's leave the Strickland hate for another day because, yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, so let's get to Alex's. A key factor in this fight is going to be his resting, Like against Yan, his first fight at light heavyweight, Yan did take him down 3 times and he did take him down for a total of 6 minutes of control time. Pereira did show improvements in his takedown defense, but throughout the fight, but he's not really been tested at all since that fight against Yan, since he's only fought strikers, Khalil Roundtree, Jamal Hill, Jiri twice, and none of those guys really attempted to take him down. And he did barely
Yeah,
beat Yan. Like it was a split decision win, and I remember some people thinking Yan won that fight as well.
you know, it was a close fight. I think me personally, I had it for Alex, but I could see why people would have it for Jan. And obviously, you need to remember, Izzy literally took this guy down. It made Izzy look like he's a fucking Division One wrestler in that fight, in the first fight they had. So, well, yeah, obviously he'll be working on it, like he'll be improving and whatnot. But
It's not going
like,
to be at
it's
a
a
level where he can defend consistently against someone like Ankalaev, who's
yeah,
19 1-1. He's around the same frame. The only thing is he has a 4-inch reach disadvantage against Alex. And the thing about Ankalaev is a lot of people like they think about him, they think, oh, he's a Dagestani. He's a wrestler first, but he's the opposite. He's a very well-rounded fighter. He does prefer to strike than wrestle, and he averages around
yeah,
one takedown attempt per fight, which is just crazy.
yeah. I think like a lot of people, they just kind of like imagine what Ankalaev is. They just imagine he's like some sort of wrestler. And like we've seen him wrestle quite heavily in the Jan Blachowicz fight, which was a draw, but obviously his leg kicks were, well, the leg kicks from Jan kind of forced Ankalaev to wrestle in that fight, which we probably will see in this fight.
Yeah, that was a big factor. Like that heavily will influence a lot of people's decisions for this matchup because obviously Jan's a good kickboxer, but Alex has arguably the greatest leg kicks ever in the
Yeah,
UFC. Like
you just can't even defend against it really, and like when they keep landing, you can see the damage it does to people.
yeah, and he can shut off a leg in like 3 or 4 kicks, so that's gonna be a major factor in this fight. How good is Ankalaev's leg kick defense? And in the Yan fight, Ankalaev did get 11 minutes of control time, so it does show Yan's a very good wrestler on his own, so it does show Ankalaev was a step ahead against Yan, and he does have superior wrestling to Yan and most light heavyweights.
Yeah, and he's obviously beaten guys like Thiago Santos, which wasn't the best fight, but he still did what he needed to do. He beat Rakic again, not the best fight, but he did what he needed to do. He beat Ozdemir, he beat Anthony Smith. Like he pretty much beat all the guys you need to beat at light heavyweight to
Yeah,
kind of
he
prove who
beat
you
Johnny
are.
Walker
He's
as
only
well.
lost.
He's
Yeah,
not
beat
the
Johnny
best
Walker.
fighter, but he did. Johnny Walker had no chance against him.
He's dangerous as well. You know,
Yeah,
Johnny Walker can knock. He's a bit of a bum, but he can knock people out. And yeah, so he's only lost Paul Craig in a fight which he was winning for 14 minutes and 59 seconds until he got subbed in literally the last second.
like the most Hail Mary moment in the UFC. Like,
So yeah, he's a hard guy to beat. Obviously, he's not faced anybody like Pereira, but again, Pereira's not faced anybody like him. That's what makes it so interesting. But
and they both have
I would,
like similar significant strike accuracy. Like Ank's got a 58% strike accuracy, and then you've got Pereira who's got a 60% significant strike accuracy. So Ank does land his shots similar to Pereira, and he's got very good striking defense as well. Like his boxing defense has been good throughout his career, and he doesn't take much damage.
yeah, no, he doesn't. To be fair, and it's like they can both be counter strikers at times. But if it becomes just like a technical striking battle, which to an like Ankalaev said he wants to strike with Pereira and that he will strike, and I think he will because at times Ankalaev is shown to potentially not have the best cardio, and if he uses a wrestling heavy approach, which most people think he should, and he probably should to have his best chance, he may gas out if he can't submit or ground and pound Pereira. and then Pereira could come with a late onslaught. So I think he will actually try keep his standing early on, and then it could be a bit of a kickboxing battle. And Ank will probably have better success than most people will assume in a straight kickboxing battle, but it could be slow for the first few rounds potentially.
Yeah, I feel like Pereira's just gonna try setting traps, staying away from the cage. He doesn't want to be pressured because if Ant closes the distance, he can control Pereira, get into clinches, try taking the fight to the ground, and obviously that's gonna wear Pereira down over 5 rounds. So Pereira's gonna try keeping in the middle of the octagon because Ant he's not the best at just like open freestyle wrestling takedowns. He's more of a guy who'll get you across the cage and tie you up. Not to say he can't go for double legs or anything in the middle of the octagon.
Yeah. So if he is, so like there will most likely be a time Ankalaev takes Pereira down, but he's not really shown too much of a submission threat, so I don't think that's something that's gonna like really occur in this fight. Too many submissions.
Yeah, I think
Pereira's shown that he does like to go for guillotine sometimes as well to defend, which can be bad because it can straight up just give away the takedown.
yeah, he can't he has to defend the takedown. He can't just panic guillotine if Ant goes
And
in on
like,
a double leg and just let himself be taken down.
yeah, or go for like the Kimura. Like he probably obviously has like quite a bit of belief in his jiu-jitsu that he's been working on and all that stuff, but I don't really see that being something that he can utilize against Ankalaev, to be honest.
Yeah, and like last week there was a lot of training footage that came out of Pereira and he was practicing Kimura sweeps, which probably isn't gonna work in a cage against someone like Ankalaev. Like there's a chance it could catch him out, but 9 out of 10 times
Yeah,
it's not gonna work.
yeah. And speaking of training, like he's been going around, he's been chilling with Drake, he's been grappling in the snow and all sorts, and going back and forth with DC, and you could say maybe he's getting a bit complacent and he's not somewhat overlooking Ankalaev. So that is something that you need to consider. He's obviously got this kind of double champ aura. This guy that is coming and become a legend so quick. It may be getting to him a bit like to his head slightly. And if you don't focus on someone like this, then you're gonna be cooked. To be honest.
Yeah, and we haven't heard about Ank at all since the fight was announced. Like I don't think I've seen him in public or at any event. Well, I don't think he's at events usually anyway. But he hasn't been active on social media either.
Yeah, you just know he's been in some cave just fucking training for his one shot. Like
But
he's
yeah,
ready for this shit definitely. But
he's definitely been preparing for this for over a year because he knows that Pereira's. He probably knew that Pereira was going to be a fight he's going to have to take, and especially for the title.
yeah, so with all that being said, let's get into what we believe will happen in the fight. So do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think Ank's going to win on a decision. I think he will. It'll be a tough striking match throughout most of the fight, but I think Ank will take him down, wear him out. I don't think he'll be able to finish him. I think there's a chance he can, like especially towards the later rounds, either by ground and pound, or probably by ground and pound. Maybe a submission, but we haven't really seen Ank's submission game. So yeah, I think Ank will take it to 5 rounds and probably get a decision. I think he'll wear Pereira out and himself. Like they will both be tired when that final bell goes. But I think Ank will get the decision.
Yeah, that's fair enough, and I could really see that happening. And it's like the odds are even, but me personally, I think Pereira will just continue this run of dominance, and I think he's gonna knock out Ankalaev in around the third round or so, third or fourth round. I'm gonna go third round, and I think at first it's gonna be a bit of a slow technical striking battle, and then Ankalaev will try mixing the wrestling a bit, but I don't think he's gonna have too much sustained success. But like, I think Ankalaev will probably win a round, and like he'll probably end the round on top. I'm assuming, but then I think he'll go back to the striking. He has confidence in that, and then I think Alex Pereira will catch him. I'm thinking the left hook. It might be too obvious, but
That's what's gonna
I can
happen. If
just
he catches him with anything, it's gonna be that left hook.
it'll be the left hook, yeah. And we've seen, I believe it was a left hook that Thiago Santos drops Ankalaev with. I might be mistaken, but Thiago Santos obviously, like Ankalaev won that pretty clearly, but Thiago Santos did give him big problems. And that was another power puncher Brazilian guy. Not too similar, but obviously something you need to think about. So
Yeah, and
yeah, that's how I
Ankalaev
think
is
that
a
fight will go.
southpaw as well, and he does keep his right hand down low sometimes.
Yeah, so literally just
And he's that,
like if
and the
Alex
way he
can,
fights, like he can easily get countered with the left hook, especially when he's leaving that right arm out.
yeah, 100%. And if anyone you don't want to do that against is Alex. So
Yeah,
we'll see though. It's a good fight, and I think some people have been hating too much on Ankalaev. I think this will be really interesting. This is a potential fight on that as well.
yeah. I think I've predicted four decisions on all four of these
But
fights
you're
so far.
you're just saying it's gonna be some like dead card.
Yeah,
Everyone's gonna
long
complain.
drawn out card. I do think there's a
No,
couple
but
of fight of the night potential fights as well. Like obviously the main event, I think it does have potential fight of the night. The co-main event definitely is going to be a 3 round striking battle,
100%.
and then the other two fights that we spoke about.
Yeah, no, literally, all of this main card is such a good main card. Like I think every fight is a good fight, and I don't really see any of them being boring. I can't really envision any of them being boring. I think the only one that could be boring is the main event, but even then, I doubt it. But
Yeah,
we'll see. So let's just talk about a bit. If Pereira wins, then what's next for him? Because obviously, there's been talk about Aspinall and Jones and whatever, or DDP
yeah. I think
coming up and
realistically, he
fighting.
should stay away from Aspinall and Jones. Obviously, he can make so much money if he goes to heavyweight. He's already sorted out for the rest of his life, but if he goes to heavyweight, he's gonna get a paycheck he never thought possible, especially against John Jones.
Yeah, that's a giant fight, and I don't think Dana White wants to see that one.
Yeah, he's talked
But
about it. He said he wants Alex to stay at light heavyweight. He knows Dana knows what's gonna happen if Jones fights Alex or if Tom fights Alex. He's gonna get submitted.
yes, it'll be a tough one for Alex
He's
to
gonna
go
get
to
finished
heavyweight.
in the first round. He's not getting out of the second. At
Most
at
most
best for
likely,
him.
but like you never know. That's the thing. People could see him knocking out Jones, and it'd be a big upset. But that's just a crazy possibility. But I think Dana White said Jones versus Aspinall's happening, so let's hope that happens, and Aspinall can fucking actually get that fight finally.
Yeah.
But then an interesting one would be because there's in light heavyweight, there's not too many people. There's like Carlos Ulberg and whatnot potentially next up, but the winner of DDP Hamza coming up, yeah, it would be Hamza without defending, getting a double champion shot, but they have beefed for a while,
Yeah, they
and that
have
is a
been
fight.
arguing and
Yeah,
he's been arguing with Strickland for a long time now, and Strickland's training with Alex, so it
and
will
yeah,
be
they got like that
interesting.
little weird type of rivalry going on, and it's an interesting one because Hamza ex 170 and Pereira a guy talking about going to heavyweight, but realistically, Hamza's a guy that could give Alex a lot of problems
Yeah,
if he wins that fight,
if
and
he goes to
DDP.
205, if Hamzat somehow like I think he will beat DDP, but let's just say if he beats DDP, goes up to 205, it's gonna be interesting seeing him against Alex, like a much bigger guy. Yeah, it'll be an interesting fight.
And yeah, let's say if DDP was to win that fight as well and come up, that is just become like a huge fight out of nowhere. Like no one really expected DDP to become a guy that's almost near legend status, to be honest. And
He's already
like
in
he
GOAT status for 185. Like he's already a top three middleweight of all time, which nobody
much, yeah,
expected.
which is bizarre. I would say he's third as well. So like we can't talk about that fight too much. That's like maybe someone will talk about down the line. But yeah, I think for me personally, if Alex wins, I'd want to see him against the middleweight champion. And for Ankalaev, what do you think?
Yeah, for Alex, he's cleared out the whole division if he beats Ankalaev, or like at least the main contenders. But for Ankalaev, if he loses, I'd love to see him against Jiri, because Jiri's a guy
Yeah,
who's had two title shots against Alex. He's been knocked out twice. He's just knocked out Jamal Hill. And Ankalaev, as good as he is, he hasn't really fought other top guys in the division. He hasn't fought Jamal. He hasn't fought Jiri. Like, since he fought Yan, he's not really fought any of like the top five guys. Even like the
or
winner
even
or loser of
yeah,
Roundtree versus Hill, which was announced recently.
yeah. I was gonna say Roundtree as well. Like the, there's a few options for him.
Yeah, so like he's got a style that'd make an interesting fight, and against strikers like Roundtree, Hill, Jiri, there's interesting fights to be made between those guys who haven't fought each other yet.
Yeah, and I think there's not really much need to talk on it because if Ank wins, the UFC will give Pereira a rematch most likely, and he probably does deserve one
Yeah, he does.
because
He's
like
defended the
he
light
stepped in,
or heavyweight
yeah, he
belt,
defended on short notice. He's knocked out so many contenders. Like
and he's
he's a
just been
legend
super
already.
active. Like he fights every couple months. Like there's not been a
Yeah.
champion that fights as often as him.
So that's the thing. So even if Ankalaev wins, he's in for probably another tough fight straight away.
Yeah.
Um, later in the year most likely. But that's that's something that like Leon did, for example. He beat Usman to beat him again. But yeah, we'll see. This either way, this is a great card. I think it's a great fight, and yeah,
Just let us know what you think about these fights, who you think's gonna win, and why, and just let us know what you think in the comments. And please
yeah.
like and
Just
subscribe.
put your predictions as well. I'm interested in seeing rounds, methods, and yeah. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to
Hopefully, see
like
you
and
in the next
subscribe.
video. Yeah, obviously we need it. We got we got no one watching us right now, but we'll see you though, innit?